Hi, my friend. Let me tell you today's tale. Once upon a time, in a magical forest filled with colorful flowers, talking animals, and sparkling streams, there were fairies. These fairies were not like any other fairies. They were tiny, with delicate wings that shimmered in all the colors of the rainbow. Each fairy had a unique power, and they used their magic to make the forest a wonderful place to live. The leader of the fairies was a kind and wise fairy named Twinkle. She had the power to make flowers bloom with a simple touch and could make the sweetest music with the twinkling of her wings. Twinkle was loved by all the fairies, and they would gather around her to listen to her stories every evening. One day, a mischievous gnome named Giggles, who lived on the edge of the forest, decided he wanted the fairies' magic all for himself. Giggles was always playing tricks on the fairies and causing trouble, so they didn't trust him. But Giggles was determined to steal their magic. He watched the fairies carefully, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. One night, while they were all gathered around Twinkle, Giggles sneaked into the clearing and snatched a handful of fairy dust, which was the source of their magic. The fairies gasped in shock as they saw Giggles disappear into the darkness. With their magic gone, the forest began to wither, flowers wilted, animals lost their voices, and the streams turned muddy and dull. The fairies were devastated, and they knew they had to get their magic back. Twinkle called a meeting of all the fairies and came up with a plan. They would have to go on a perilous journey to find Giggles and retrieve their magic. Each fairy would use their unique powers to help along the way. Twinkle would lead the group with her ability to light the path ahead, and they set off into the unknown. Their journey was filled with many adventures. They encountered giant talking mushrooms, danced with fireflies, and even helped a friendly dragon mend his broken wing. Each obstacle they faced brought them one step closer to Giggles and their lost magic. Finally, after many days of traveling, the fairies reached Giggles' secret lair, hidden deep in a dark cave. Giggles was asleep, surrounded by piles of fairy dust. The fairies quietly worked together to retrieve their magic, being careful not to wake the mischievous gnome. With their magic restored, the fairies left a note for Giggles, asking him to be kind and promising to help him if he ever needed it. They returned to their forest, and with their magic, they brought life back to every corner of their home. The flowers bloomed brighter than ever, the animals sang with joy, and the streams sparkled with crystal clear water. The fairies continued to live happily in the magical forest, using their powers to make the world a better place. Twinkle was once again loved by all, and they all gathered around her every evening to listen to her stories of their grand adventure. And in a faraway kingdom, a beautiful princess heard tales of the magical forest and its wonderful fairies. She dreamed of visiting this enchanted place, and little did she know that one day her own adventure would begin, leading her to the fairies who would forever change her life. So, the beautiful princess in the faraway kingdom was named Princess Lily. She had heard stories about the magical forest and its enchanting fairies ever since she was a little girl. She often gazed out of her castle window, imagining the colorful world that lay beyond. One sunny morning, Princess Lily decided to embark on an adventure of her own. She told her parents, the king and queen, about her dream of visiting the magical forest and meeting the fairies. Her parents, concerned for her safety, were initially hesitant, but they could see the determination in their daughter's eyes. The king and queen consulted their royal advisors, who informed them that it was indeed possible to reach the magical forest, but it was a journey filled with Princess Lily, undeterred, set out on her grand adventure with the blessings of her parents. As she traveled through meadows, crossed bubbling brooks, and ventured deep into the unknown, Princess Lily encountered various magical creatures who helped guide her way. She met a wise old owl who provided her with directions, and a friendly squirrel who offered her delicious berries to keep her strength up. The closer she got to the magical forest, the more the world around her transformed. The trees grew taller and their leaves seemed to glow with a gentle light. Flowers whispered secrets of the forest, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of wildflowers. Finally, Princess Lily entered the magical forest and was welcomed by the fairies who had once embarked on their own journey. She told them about her dream and the legends she had heard, and they were delighted to meet her. The fairies used their magic to create a special, radiant gown for her, one that sparkled and shimmered in the sunlight. Princess Lily spent her days in the magical forest, learning from the fairies and sharing stories of her kingdom. With her kindness and wisdom, she brought even more magic to the forest, and it flourished like never before. The fairies and Princess Lily became the closest of friends, and she was even given a tiny vial of fairy dust as a token of their everlasting friendship. When it was time to return to her kingdom, Princess Lily said a tearful farewell to her fairy friends. The fairies promised to visit her kingdom someday, and Princess Lily returned home with a heart full of love and wonderful memories. Back in her castle, she shared her tales of the magical forest with her parents, the king and queen. They listened with amazement and joy, knowing that their daughter had truly found a place of wonder and enchantment. And so, Princess Lily's adventures continued, as she ruled her kingdom with kindness and grace, spreading the magic and wonder she had discovered in the magical forest with all her subjects. The fairies, from that day on, watched over her kingdom, ensuring that it remained a place of beauty and wonder. As time passed, Princess Lily's kingdom flourished under her wise and benevolent rule. Her stories of the magical forest and the fairies enchanted the hearts of her people, inspiring them to cherish the natural world and protect the environment. The kingdom became known far and wide for its commitment to preserving the beauty of the land, and Princess Lily's subjects took great pride in their role as stewards of the earth. The magical forest, in turn, grew stronger with the connection it had with the kingdom. The fairies, inspired by Princess Lily's love and leadership, continued to use their powers to keep the forest vibrant and thriving. The animals in the forest thrived, and the once mischievous gnome, Giggles, found a new purpose, using his tricks to bring laughter and joy to all the creatures of the forest. Over the years, the bond between the kingdom and the magical forest deepened. The fairies, true to their promise, visited the kingdom periodically, spreading their magic and goodwill. They would help the kingdom during times of need, offering their powers to heal the sick, make crops flourish, and ensure peace and harmony. One day, when Princess Lily had become a wise and beloved queen, the fairies appeared in the kingdom to fulfill their promise. The fairy dust vial, a symbol of their enduring friendship, was used to bring prosperity and happiness to the kingdom. The sky shimmered with the colors of the rainbow as the fairy dust was scattered across the land, and everyone rejoiced. The fairies and Princess Lily, now Queen Lily, continued to share stories, laughter, and the magic of their worlds. And on special occasions, like grand festivals and royal celebrations, the fairies would perform their enchanting dances, filling the kingdom with awe and wonder. But even with all the enchantment, Queen Lily always remembered the lessons she learned during her adventures. She knew that true magic came not only from fairy dust but from kindness, love, and taking care of the world around us. She inspired her kingdom to live in harmony with nature, ensuring a bright and hopeful future for generations to come. As the years passed, Queen Lily's kingdom prospered, and her legacy of environmental stewardship continued to grow. The kingdom became known not only for its beauty, but also for its sustainable practices. Queen Lily implemented policies to protect the forests, rivers, and wildlife, ensuring that the land remained pristine for generations to come. Under her rule, the kingdom's people worked together to plant trees, clean up rivers, and care for the animals. The royal palace itself became a model of eco-friendliness, powered by renewable energy and surrounded by lush gardens filled with flowers and herbs. The kingdom's dedication to preserving the environment even attracted scholars and scientists from distant lands, all eager to learn from Queen Lily's example. The fairies continued to visit the kingdom in the magical forest, strengthening the bond between the two worlds. It became a tradition for the children of the kingdom to make a pilgrimage to the magical forest at a certain age, where they would meet the fairies and learn about the importance of respecting and preserving the natural world. With each generation, the connection between the kingdom and the magical forest grew stronger. The fairies and the people worked together to protect not only their own lands, but also the neighboring forests and rivers. Together, they formed an alliance that extended their reach into other parts of the world, spreading the message of environmental conservation and harmony. And so, the fairies, the kingdom, and Queen Lily lived in unity, their actions a testament to the idea that magic could be found in the simple act of caring for the world around us. The story of the princess who journeyed into the magical forest became a symbol of hope and inspiration, not just for one kingdom, but for all the lands touched by her message of love and compassion. The tale of the fairies and Queen Lily continued to be passed down from one generation to the next, reminding people that with kindness, respect for nature, and the belief in the power of unity, the world could be transformed into a place of wonder and enchantment. The magical forest in Queen Lily's kingdom eventually became a beacon of hope in the realm, drawing the attention of neighboring realms and kingdoms. People from far and wide visited the enchanted forest and witnessed the harmony between the fairies, the creatures, and the human inhabitants. Word of the kingdom's prosperity and its commitment to environmental conservation spread across the land. Leaders and rulers from other kingdoms sought Queen Lily's counsel on how to create their own realms that harmonized with nature. In time, a council of rulers was established, dedicated to preserving the natural world and fostering cooperation between their lands. This council, which included Queen Lily as one of its respected members, led to great changes across the entire realm. Forests were protected, rivers were cleaned, and wildlife habitats were preserved. The people of the realm joined hands to ensure that their world thrived, leaving a legacy of peace, prosperity, and environmental stewardship for generations to come. As Queen Lily aged, she found herself looking back at her life with a sense of fulfillment. Her adventures in the magical forest, her friendship with the fairies, and her commitment to her kingdom's well-being had created a legacy that extended far beyond her own reign. She spent her remaining years in the magical forest, surrounded by the friends who had meant so much to her throughout her life. In the end, Queen Lily's story became a legend, not only for her kingdom, but for all the lands in the realm. It was a tale of a young princess who embarked on an adventure, found friendship in an enchanted forest, and returned to her kingdom as a wise and compassionate queen. Her story inspired generations to come, ensuring that the legacy of the fairies and Queen Lily would live on, bringing magic and wonder to the hearts of all who heard it.